50. Bow. It is a chilly spring with high blue skies. The sisters wear jackets well into May when they are out in the garden. Summer comes late, at, and at the end of June, the sun goes into clouds and refuses to come out for weeks while the rain falls slowly in the afternoons. Bo's back has healed. The physiotherapist Lillian works a lot with Bo and Miriam, who are trained to walk correctly with her bent hips. Bo gets to train her whole body, building up muscles. Miriam and Bo suffer from both broken bones and atrophied muscles. You want to get well again, don't you? You want to be normal, right? Hang in there. Doctors and nurses have looked down my throat many times, shining a light inside and squeezing the outside, telling me to say, ah. I think of the table that I sat and rocked under. I think of the spruce tops reflecting in the shiny water of the lake that I have flown over so many times. I think of the basement where I was hidden and dared to use my vocal cords. Then Bo was needed. I think of pink flesh exposed and broken skin and twisting veins pumping desperate blood and little birds fleeing through dark forests. Bo has moved up to the children's room and Miriam and Judith speak for Bo. We wake up in the morning and play with the new toys in our room. Judith rides the rocking horse, nice horse. The days go by and we don't want to go further out than the garden. The good ladies think we should go on excursions. We have decided to go to the market in Hässleholm, says Lena after the snack. I look at Eva, who is fading. Nope, says Judith. Yes, tomorrow we will all get out of here, says Lena. But the world is so big, and the basement was so deep, and the ladies don't understand that we carry the basement with us like something heavy that has been accidentally swallowed. In the morning, the ladies are all ready to pack us into the minibus and leave. Come on, Naomi, Miriam, Bo, Judith. Pia reaches for her, but she pulls away and stands in the corner of the living room with her back to the room. The big sisters come down the stairs. We're not going, says Lisa. Yes, let's go, says Pia. Lisa shakes her head vigorously in response. But we have to get out. It's part of the rehabilitation. Dr. Odenfeld wants us to go on excursions. Then I think he can go, says Lisa. Pia sighs, so Lena takes over. Come on, girls. You little ones should at least come out today. Lena grabs me and Judith to put on our thin summer jackets. Adina is sitting on the bottom step. Let them go, she says. Come, Adina, you're coming too. Never. Miriam starts sobbing. Well, I don't know what to do with you, says Lena, giving up. We go up to the rooms. There will only be small excursions in the future. Adina sneaks along the shelves of the grocery store and throws groceries so they don't want to take her out at all anymore. Michael is wearing a shirt and vest and his hair is so short, almost shaved. Mim has a second-hand dress, tights, and small worn sandals on her feet. Eva stands with the ladies and receives her children. The rest of us stand in the kitchen and the door frame as the foster parents bring them in. Michael has gotten so big, he is as big as Aunt Judith. Mim has curly dark hair and big eyes. She wrinkles her eyebrows thoughtfully. Michael is just as puzzled, maybe a little scared, but he will be a good big brother. Judith walks up and gives a cuddly toy each to Michael and Mim. Will you go and play in the room then, so that Eva and the children can have peace and quiet? Lena asks. They say such strange things to us sometimes. We are with Eva. But Eva only has eyes for her children. She stands stiffly, waiting for them to recognize her, to show her that they remember, that they want to come to her. She crouches next to Mim and draws in the scent of her skin. Our teacher Birgitta comes for 4 days a week. But Judith, you can read. Judith grimaces shyly. These girls know more than you think, I hear her say to Lena in the kitchen. Naomi has changed the most. She is a shy girl who quietly supports and helps all the sisters. But Adina is a troublemaker. She is fond of Birgitta, but she doesn't want to show it. But she gets jealous when Birgitta takes care of the rest of us. While Birgitta is introducing another sister on a task, she can stand and pull Birgitta's hair, pinch her sweater, or play with her pearl earring until Birgitta says, yes, what does Adina want? Adina slaps one of the cushions on the sofa and crosses her arms over her chest. Our psychologist also comes to the house now and then and talks to a couple of us at a time. We are told that what Mom and Dad did was wrong and that we are safe now, but no one really knows how to fix us. If you could choose just about anything, what would you like to do? The living room is dead silent. "51. Bo. Channel 1 and several newspapers get in touch and ask if they can do a report on the basement girls. Dr. Odenfeld and the ladies think we should take the opportunity to tell our story, but the big sister says no. It's not fair that everyone should know us when we don't know anyone. Lena and a new lady called Suzanne sleeps 2 nights at a time in our guest room. Pia and Yad work in our house during the day. In addition to the physiotherapist and teacher Birgitta and the psychologist lady. Stubborn, good-natured, kind, but still prison guards. In October, the hospital holds a big meeting about the Wilson sisters. Dr. Odenfeld is there with his medical team, helping Miriam with the splint, Esther with the nerve pain, Bo with muscle control, and all of the sisters with supplements and treatment for osteoporosis. Some of our nurses from the 7th floor are there. Our 3 social workers are there, the one who helps Eva with Michael and Mim, the one who is responsible for the adult sisters, and the one who is responsible for the underage little sisters. Lena and Pia are there. The physiotherapist and psychologist lady, accompanied by her boss, are also at the meeting. Lisa is there and Eva is holding Bo, while Yad takes care of all the others, including Lisa's newborn twins. Lisa didn't tell the ladies that she was in labor. She didn't want to be taken back to the hospital. She wanted to give birth with her sisters. The twins are tiny, identical, clinging to each other and curling up against each other like the kittens did in their basket. They look like Bo, Esther said. Eva and Lisa are scared. Eva says that Bo can join them and puts her arms around me. The whole party pours themselves water from a pot and fidgets with their folders and binders. Dr. Odenfeld begins. Eva, Lisa, and Bo, you know everyone in here, right? The sisters nod in agreement. Then perhaps you would like to start by giving a description of the current situation, he then asks the ladies. Lena explains, we've been living with the Wilson sisters for 6 months now. There are 4 of us who have sort of formed a family with the sisters. They are slowly recovering. They are all struggling psychologically, he adds. Yes, yes. Shall we come back to that later? Let's do the medical part first. As for the 3 most severely affected girls, we are all aware of the injuries they are dealing with. The question is whether Bo may have suffered any brain damage in addition to... we're not entirely clear on that. Possibly nothing beyond what she may have had from birth, says Lena. You knew her before the tragedy, yes? We looked after 3 of the sisters in the ward in 1983. We treated Bo then. Sometimes she was far too awake to be suffering from any kind of autism. Nor was she retarded. She was enclosed in her own world. Yes, it's hard to know exactly what it could be. Possibly a combination of many different things, such as neglect and early trauma. So she is the same, you would say. Yes, actually, now that you mention it, the others adore her. Pia and Lena shake their heads in amused disbelief. Well, time will tell. It's only been 6 months, and various psychological treatments may be required for the most severely disturbed. We've talked about a period in the ward for the 17-year-old Adina. Yes, perhaps. I find it difficult to see her reintegrated as she is showing signs of a deeper disorder. But as I said, it's only been 6 months. Now back to the medical report. Esther's doctor shares the medical terms for the nerve damage she suffered during childbirth. They conclude that they are doing everything they can and need. A new ointment is on its way in the US, which may, well, alleviate the discomfort. Otherwise, Esther, like Eva and Lisa, have stopped growing, and any hormone treatment, which today's meeting is partially about, will not play any role in their growth. Although Ada is 18 years old, there is still hope that growth can occur with estrogen therapy and growth hormone. Should we simply decide to start treatment on the 6 younger girls? Dr. Odenfeld asks. There are murmurs and nods. But are the little ones ready for it? I talked to Adina about it, and she got all upset. Adina is 17 years old. We must not forget that they are big girls. As for Judith and Bo, they should be able to catch up well and become almost as mature as they would otherwise. But there we are holding the estrogen treatment, and that may not be necessary. We will see how much they catch up with growth hormones and supplements. Have they grown at all during this time? Yes, says my doctor, Dr. Reimer. Little Miss Miriam is doing well, I must say. This is Miriam's doctor talking now. As for my patient, I feel hopeful. She's in the right mood. She's knuckling along without complaining with physiotherapy, and the splint is doing its job. I assume that there will be no need for surgery, but that we will let the splint do its job and give her a dose of the somatropin at the same time. Dr. Odenfeld writes in Miriam's journal. Anything else purely medical to report? Just what has already been established, says our nurse from the 7th floor. Those who were under 15 are severely inhibited. Then we can move on to the mental development, says Dr. Odenfeld. Birgitta clarifies, I have given all the sisters tests to determine their level of intelligence and learning ability, the kind of tests you give children at school. They show that everyone except Bo has normal intelligence, and Ada is above normal. Bo was impossible to test, so with her I can't say for sure. I have also tested IQ and emotional maturity and cognitive ability, says the psychologist lady. In terms of IQ, I get the same results as you, Brigitte, but emotional maturity and cognitive ability vary a lot from child to child, she says. Can you tell me? Asked Dr. Odenfeld. They are all at a much younger child's emotional level. Bo was impossible to test. Now there is a bit of noise and sighing in the room. What is the prognosis? Can you say anything at this stage? The psychologist clarifies. Given the long-term nutritional deficiency together with severe psychological trauma, I consider development to be slow, if at all possible. But the girls are talented and intelligent, says Birgitta. Maybe we should see what they can actually do, despite the misery they have been subjected to, instead of just seeing what they have not been able to learn. Says Dr. Odenfeld. So could you describe your life with the girls in more detail? He then asked the ladies. Yes, we will, says Lena. Yes, as we all know, they are amazing girls, and they stick together. They are incredibly loyal to each other in an unspoken way. Maybe they are too close together. Yes, but how could you separate them? We have been living with the girls around the clock for 6 months now. They don't like to let us in. They like to stay upstairs, and when you come upstairs, they quiet. They don't let us in. And socializing them hasn't worked at all. They refuse to go on any planned outings, and we don't want to take them anywhere anymore because they behave the way they do. And how is that? Take Miriam, for example, who is terrified, simply terrified, and Judith, who doesn't seem to be able to interpret the world around her or understand that cars are something to watch out for. It's like they live in a dream sometimes and don't understand that the world and everything out there is real. But Adina is something else. She's wild, impossible to take out. The doctors and psychologists look grim. How does it work in the house? It works relatively well in the house. Everyone takes care of the household and hygiene. The middle girls are sweet and helpful, and we cook together. They haven't opened up, but as I said, they are kind and helpful most of the time. The younger ones play well together and seem happy to be together in their own little world. Don't the youngest turn to you? In a way. I feel that a little time away from the older ones could have a good effect on the younger ones. I sometimes get the feeling that they don't trust us, even though they might want to, because the older ones simply don't want to let us in. But we sometimes read a book or do a craft with just one of the younger. I think it does them a lot of good. There is silence for a while. Lisa sits and pinches her knees so that her fingers turn white. Bo feels Eva's breath on the back of his neck. Water is sipped and journals are browsed. Then the question that remains is the small children, Eva and Lisa's children. Dr. Odenfeld smiles at my sisters, who want to start talking. Everyone looks at my sisters and then at the good ladies. Eva is very attentive and affectionate mother, says Pia, but she is also a victim of incest. We've talked to both about whether it would be best to give the children to adoptive parents. Eva's arms tighten around Bo. I love my children, she says. I know you do, says Pia. Eva, Lisa, would you like to tell us how you feel about your situation regarding the issues we have raised here today? We don't want to be separated, says Eva. I love my children too, says Lisa. But it is your father who is also their father, Dr. Odenfeld murmurs. Everyone has a father, says Eva. Which one you can't control. Michael and Maria are like any other children. I must say that Michael and Maria adjusted very quickly to their mother and that they are both just normal, healthy children. They are doing very well and have excellent social skills for their age. All the girls love them. Given the horrific circumstances in which they were born, it can be particularly important that they receive support and love from their mothers and aunts. And that's what I want my children to have too, says Lisa, thinking of the new twins. Yes, yes, mutters Odenfeld. Well, the way you've been talking today, Lisa says now, you'd think we were a bunch of hopeless wretches. We are not. To you it sounds like a bad prognosis that we won't be what you want us to be, but for 5 years we managed to get by on nothing. Lisa turns red and suddenly shuts up. We only had each other, Eva continues. We couldn't think because we didn't have enough food to eat, but we had a life together, and Bo traveled with us. What do you mean, Bo traveled? Eva looked proudly at Dr. Odenfeld and said, Bo was talking in the basement. You can believe what you want, but Bo is actually an angel. Can't you just leave us alone? But Eva, Lisa, you understand that we want to help you. We know you've had a hard time. The sisters are upset and are currently unable to say anything more. The doctors and nurses decide that there's hope for the Wilson sisters and that the treatment will continue in the same way for the next 6 months until everyone meets again. Chapter 50 and 51 comments. A description of what is not visible on the surface, but which moved through the various chambers and parts of the soul. When no one could be trusted, we withdrew into ourselves, and the big ones prevented the little ones from coming forward. For example, we needed time to process. What is tragedy? Suffering, I suppose, is the answer. But once the suffering and abuse have ceased, it can become a driving force, bringing new promises, new children, abilities, love. Is the idea an illness? It is a fragment of the soul. In the outer layers of the soul, perhaps, I would venture to say, the core remains protected. Vulnerable and difficult to talk about, I still can't talk about certain things. I'm not ill because of it, nor is it impossible to understand, I'd say. This passage draws heavily on my experiences of child psychiatric care and treatment home in the 90s, mixed with the healing that came later in life.